side of your, you get
person
it.
with disability.
And unfortunately, some of my colleagues did this, so I need to scold them this morning. I had to do that.
Well, we will change. We're doing our best to do the narrative.
That your colleagues as well. Yes. So we need to, because some way we contribute all of these derogatory, words, and we do not know that these words are derogatory. And you hear Yoruba person say, Biruni. So let's talk about it. What are some of these derogatory words?
For instance, for me, the word albino is derogatory. Is person with albinism. You don't say someone is deaf and dumb.
Person with
Aditi.
Deaf.
Aditi.
Yeah,
that's what it means.
So these are things that we need to be conscious of. Because even people even around this person still use those derogatory terms. So we need to keep talking about it to drive it into their subconscious. This is the way you refer to this person.
A person with disability.
Yeah.
A person with albinism.
Yes.
So when they say he's Afin, how does it make you feel?
That's the Yoruba. Word for Afin.
Yes.
And people use those words most times when they want to be naughty. When they really want.
Afini.
When they want to be naughty, but really, they look at the person first before they use. I mean, if you're older and they know that you can react, people get to be a bit more careful with their choice of words.
Okay, before I talk about the punishment for some of this, things that we do, you were talking about people with speech impairment.
So I was trying to correct that it's not actually dumb or deaf. It's person with speech impairment or person with hearing impairment. So these are just some of the words they use. Also, person with visual impairment. So the person comes first when we're talking about it, because it's not a blind person. It's a person with visual impairment. So it depends the person first before the nature of the person's disability.
That's the nature. So you use the nature now comes behind. So you don't say it's a cripple.
No. It's a person with a physical
you hear things like that.
Yeah, the person first, person with physical disability.
Yeah.
So
it's not one-legged as well.
Oh my! You see, they say he has one leg. It's a person with one leg. And I'm wondering, it's a bow-legged person. You know, in those ones. Yeah. And I see that some of these things are derogatory. But how does it make you guys feel when you're referred to as, it's a blind person?
Personally, there's a thing that words do. So when you keep hearing something over and over and over again, it tends to sink into your subconscious, and you begin to believe that is the real you. So personally, if I keep hearing things like this on my subconscious, although I'm aware now, but generally on a person's subconscious nature, you begin to think that is what they really are, and this contributes to the person becoming emotionally down and having self-esteem issues.
But Tolani, how does it make you feel? You've been advocating for disability issues for quite a while.
Yeah.
In your general, let me just talk about you personally. Now you've mixed with quite a number of people with disability. What exactly is it that this description does to them?
It makes most persons with disability feel bad. Very bad. But for someone like me, I went to public school. And at the name calling, I've been able to rise above it to a very large extent. But you still have a few people who just look for those very, very bad names. I went to boarding house, so I had all sorts of nicknames, for me, it's like water off a duck's back, but not for other persons with disability. And because I had a very strong support cast from home, they really tutored me well. So by the time I got into the larger society, I was prepared for those things, and they keep ramming it in that this is who you are, there's nothing wrong with you, just keep yourself and all that. So what people were saying on the name calling, I was able to rise above it to a very, very large extent, but it is not a palatable experience.
But let me ask the question, has your disability stopped you from achieving the best that you could have achieved for yourself? Should I begin with Uche again?
Yes, you can.
Okay, Uche, you just completed your master's degree, so let me not let the cat out of the bag. Just tell us, has disability stopped you from, achieving more?
No, it hasn't. It hasn't. It just made me want to work harder to impress people around, because when people look at you, the person with disability, they tend to want to pity you. So in order not to get pitied, you have to put in the extra work to achieve. So it has not hindered me from achieving, but has helped me focus more and have more drive towards achieving my dreams.
Tolani?
It's that it hasn't been a barrier. I think the only barrier for me is that doing the kind of things I want to do in the sun. That's the only thing. I went to
this is like a nature's thing.
Yes, I know how to keep my skin away from the sun. But aside that, I went to public schools. I went to a boarding house. I went to public, government tertiary institutions, and really, it just.
Did you find work after graduation?
I really didn't look for.
You really didn't.
I just went into private business, and all
and
good
you had
for
clients.
me. And because the thing is, even when I was invited to join a particular establishment, I was invited because I proved my worth, and it was more like, oh, we want you to come, because I was bringing something to the table which they wanted. So it's not yet. The discrimination is there. I'm not
even while you were
shy
working.
away from. Even when you get to some clients, like, oh, okay,
is you.
Where is your boss?
And I'm like, I'm the boss. I can imagine. Why is your boss? Can I quickly meet your boss? Haven't you got to places where people just offer you money when they see you, first of all?
Yes, and it's kind of very annoying. So there was this day I was coming back from a wedding with a friend. We were at a particular bus park at Mushin. So we came from a wedding, so we are properly dressed, putting on the ashrabi of the wedding.
And cap.
And cap. And then someone begins to squeeze in polymer notes into our hands. I was like, what kind of thing is this? What kind of thing? So what we just did was, most times, because we are not begging for money, when they just go those kind of money, we just straight away. Then people begin to stop us. So your money has fallen down. And we were like, it's not our money.
It's not our money. Somebody forced it upon us and we did not beg for it. So what should we now do? Should we kill ourselves because the person wants to force us to take money? Exactly. So like, this is your day-to-day experience. You are bus conductors. Let's look at transportation. You want to take a bus. Are they respectful? Are they do people sit down beside you in the bus and say, but maybe pregnant women will sit beside you in the bus and say, if I come on me, how do they react to you when you take public transport?
Well, I would sincerely say the consciousness for that has really gone down.
Okay.
And the myth around it, it's my environment. So I don't get to see those things like that.
You don't pay attention
I don't pay attention anymore, because I'm sure that even if we walk down the street, all these things you're trying to bring up, I won't see it. You will see it more.
Yes.
And you really feel so bad about it, like, oh, that person looking at you funny. This person crossed the road because we are coming towards this direction, and we are at the bank and they are looking at us funny, or the guy at the gate, refused to shake you and all that kind of thing. Because from experience with my friends, I don't get to see those things, but they get to get so uneasy about it, and after so many years, it's been, for me, I can say it's been so far so good. I was well prepared. I went to school in the jungle, so I was really, really well prepared.
Your parents did that preparation properly.
Yes.
So for parents now who are not preparing their children for the tough society where they will, thrive, where they are supposed to function, what's the hazard there? So if your parents had kept you at home, didn't allow you to go to school, what would life have been like?
Life would have been absolutely different, because I can't imagine myself at home. Because where I learned all the things I know, how to move around, how to communicate, how to use
Do you use a cane?
Yes, I use.
Okay.
I use a guide cane, and I learned it in a rehabilitation school for persons with visual impairment.
Okay.
So all these things I learned them in school. So I can't imagine myself at home to be like the typical Nollywood movie that you see a child at home, the child cannot go out, the child wants to take them assist them to the toilet and things like that. That's how life would have been for me. without school. But
Okay, so Uche,
Alright.
let me cut you in a little
Alright.
bit. What are the things you can do by yourself?
things I can do by myself, I can do everything by myself.
So you cook?
I cook, yes.
Do you live alone?
Yes, I do.
You actually cook?
Yes, I cook. I iron, I go around by myself, I wash.
So you were going to school, and
Yes.
you just schooled in Unilag,
Yes,
am I
I did.
correct?
Yes, I did.
You were going by yourself?
Yes, I was. I was on campus. So when you're on campus, there are people to be taking care of you. So I was forced to learn most of the things I know. Like I learned how to cook on campus from friends.
Wow.
So yeah.
So like you can make stew?
Yes, I can.
Seriously?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so you know the fear of most people, I think it's fear sometimes, and that's what I'm trying to establish here.
Yes.
You are not. Do you have bones?
No, I don't.
So because parents will say, he will burn himself.
Actually, my mom was like that.
She was like
that was
that.
why I did not learn before I went to
School.
university. Yes. So when I was at home, she was always afraid. I won't go and mistakenly burn myself. So when I went to university, we were not allowed to use gas. It was hospice we were using. So even with that, she was kind of scared. I should always be careful. I should not touch the hospice when it is
I'm
hot.
sure she was giving you more money to buy food than cook the food.
Yeah, she would have preferred me if I not learn how to cook, because she was just being a mother.
The typical protective mother.
Yes, that's what she was doing. So
The statistics this morning says about 31 million PWDs, are across about 23 states, where the disability law have not been domiciled, are suffering neglect of all forms. The federal government has passed the disability law 3 years ago. I mean, there are about 2 years more now for people to start getting punished for not inculcating some of these things in their day-to-day. What do you think is the impediment, Tolani? Why do you think they are not putting these things in place?
First, the 31 million, where's the figure from? Who gave the figure?
According to
Yeah, but don't look too far. When was our last census?
IDPD.
Our last census was way back, about 14, 15 years ago.
And we want to do another one.
16 years.
We want to do it 15 years ago. That's our
Yes.
last census. So that figure is,
It's faulty.
I really doubt the figure. Yes, and the domestication of the
disability law.
disability law. I mean, I wonder how you. Okay, some states have done a bit.
I hosted Kano and Jigawa last week, and the representatives were here last week, and they've done that, and I was shocked.
Yeah, and Lagos State had.
They came to Lagos to understudy us.
Yeah, but even at that, there's still so much to be done. The figure, how many the government, state and federal level don't have the proper figures for
The
person.
data.
They don't have, yes, for persons with disability. I can say that for free. They don't have the data. So when you don't even know, as you have a household, you don't even know how many people you want to feed, you want to provide shelter, you want to provide clothing for. So that's like you're not started at all. So because you don't have the figures, you can't plan, you can't do anything. So those that have started, there's no data. Those that are yet to start are looking at those that have started, and so it's like we need to start from there first, have proper data, have the proper data analysis, then we're going in from there. Even the budgetary provision is just like it's just take from someone's head and let's get this thing
If
done.
we just give them this small thing.
And another thing, one of the reasons why this thing has not been adopted by a lot of states is like disability issues is still seen as from the charity point of view. Let's keep them.
So they're still employing the charity
give
model.
them.
You
Yes.
don't see, and that was why I tried to establish and say, what have you not been able to achieve? What have you not been able to do? Because if the society sees that, the disability is a problem, is a challenge, stops them from achieving the best they can, then you are affirming the fact that the disability is an impediment. But you have learned that the disability is a part of the person, and the person has the ability to, to be productive in society. But society expects you to be unproductive because you have a disability.
exactly, they expect you not to be productive. They want to help you, No, they don't want to help teach you how to fish. They want to give you the fish so you can keep coming back to depend on them. And that's just the sad way we see it. So they adopt the charity model. They don't want to move towards the rights model that focuses disability on laws and rights of persons with disability.
Are the rights of persons with disability different from the rights of persons without disability?
No, they are not different, but they are, as you said, there's the law passed by Nigeria 3 years ago. There's the Lagos Special Persons Law. These are just added laws to ensure that persons with disability in the country and in Lagos State live their best life in the society.
So, Tolani, as we round off the conversation this morning, we're celebrating International Day of Persons with Disability. What will be your words to Lagos and to Nigeria?
To Lagos. Lagos has got the special
People's Law.
People's Law. On the issue of free health care, which is in the law, free health care and free education, and access to transportation, there should be a proper handshake. There should be synergy between the arms of government. There's an Office of Disability Affairs. It's like the passing something. It takes weeks, it takes months, and you just say, oh, this is government. Things don't move as fast. I mean, you just...
There's a disability commission, and the head is my friend.
Yeah, so it's like there should be a proper working relationship. Yes, they are working. Mr. A is working, Mr. B is working, but the synergy is not there.
They're not seeing it.
It shouldn't even be a handshake. It should be a very tight hug. The Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Social Development, the Office of Disability Affairs should really, really work in sync and cut the waiting time and stop passing the buck.
And what would you say, Uche?
Mine would be, since today is International Day of Persons with Disability, the team is focusing on leadership and participation of persons with disabilities. I would say more needs to be done to ensure that persons with disability participate more in government and in all walks of life in the country of Nigeria.
Thank you so much to Uche Odogwu and Tolani Ojuri for being with me on the Bumper Breakfast this morning. It's been a pleasure hosting you both. Thank you once again. We look forward to having more conversations about disability matters on the subsequent editions of Bumper Breakfast. Do have a lovely day, people. My name is Tomisin, and I'll see you Monday morning.